Hey everyone. So today I want to discuss the demonic and how I have experienced that emotional, unhealthy or difficult emotional feedback loops kept me in a lower frequency. And in order to partake in the great ascension, this astrological age that cannot be of anybody who's grown up in an Abrahamic religion, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, there's been a distortion at the origin of the story. And that distortion has ultimately undermined the divine feminine aspect. So if we imagine a circular whole, this is the unified human, right? You have the divine masculine energy in principle, and you have the divine feminine energy in principle, and in all human bodies. And these two go like this all day long and interrelate and are so good together. But our distortion pushed the feminine out. So because of that tip, we now have a masculine. The masculine has gone into major distortion, hence this age of the patriarchy and capitalism and everything that we see. And the feminine has gone into distortion. So we're in the age of rectifying and bringing that back into whole. It's very important, and I would highly recommend going back to Gnostic sources and teachers. And Gnostic means knowing, the shaman path of inner knowing. And to be quite frank, these sources are the closest thing we have to what's actually going on here. And they predate the Abrahamic texts that carry the distortion, and they speak to the truth. John Lamb Lash, a profound Gnostic teacher. So I grew up in one of these distorted institutions, the fundamentalist Christian church. That institution really affected me because of the distortion. Reality was really disintegrating for me. And I couldn't sleep at night. I felt an overwhelming evil presence. I could only sleep during the day. I was still very much indoctrinated by fundamentalist Christian ideas. But what followed for about 6 to 8 months was a targeted Archon attack on me. So I felt like I couldn't be who I was. I felt very sexually repressed. And I also felt that I didn't have true agency. Because in each of these Abrahamic texts, in Christianity, it's that you are repulsive. You have so let God down that he actually can't even look at you. In fact, you got to go through this guy, Jesus. And like, if you're cool enough, Jesus will speak to the big man and maybe you'll get the shit you want. But that depends on your faith. I mean, what a mindfuck. You mean I have no self-governance over my own life? That idea has separated me and us from accessing true inner divinity out of the sovereign self. Jesus was the great I am, and I am the great I am, and you are the great I am. And the great lie was that we're not. And that in fact this one O did it how many thousand years ago, and he was just a fucking anomaly. You all just have to fucking pray to this dude and really hope that he comes through for you. Really hope that when he's had a wank, he goes to the big guy and he asks him for the shit you need. Here are all these rules that are utterly impossible to follow. And maybe, if you follow all of them, like a fucking bureaucrat, then you'll taste God? That sounds suspicious to me. Because, you know, if I walk into my therapist's office and your origin story is, yeah, I grew up in a family and my dad was like really disappointed in me. He was pretty wrathful and he said he didn't love me, but he loved like my big brother, Jesus. He's a cool guy. And so if I wash Jesus's clothes, tell him how amazing he is, stroke his ego, then my dad will sometimes like be like, okay, I love you. Okay, you would be fucked. You walk into an office with that origin story, your conditioning was made from the age of 0 to 7. I just refuse to believe that the origin story of something as beautiful as Mother Earth would have me believe that me, here, as a conscious participant in it, is not good enough. That feels like a control mechanism to me, personally. So now to the demons. If you look at these ancient texts, the real ones, the Gnostic intel, you will discover that the story is a lot more galactic and completely without judgment. There are actually dark beings called Archons, but there is no central devil overlord. There is no devil center. There are these Archontic entities